So we have John Worthington here. Tell us a bit about yourself.
56-year-old full-time knife maker. Been at it for 25, 26 years. Like to make using knives so people can get them in their hands and get out there and use a better knife than is normally available.
Yeah, right. So what's your thoughts about people buying all the pretty sort of Damascus but then don't want to use it?
I don't have a problem with it. If they just want to buy it and collect it, that's fine.
As collectors, yeah, of course.
But I do have a problem with hunters in the fact that they will spend thousands on their rifle and thousands on their scope and thousands on their binoculars, and then they'll buy a $12 knife from Bunnings.
Yeah.
And they spend a lot more time with their knife in their hand if they're actually harvesting anything than they do shooting their rifle and looking through their scope and everything else. You can have a really flash one for a quarter of the price of your rifle and scope setup.
That's right.
Because people will have, you know, 7,000-8,000 and a nice rifle and scope.
But not just that, there's a lot more work. I mean, if you're a good shot and you're sort of well trained, got an idea what you're doing, you can take down an animal in quite a quick amount of time.
Yeah.
But harvesting the actual animal with a bad knife will take significantly longer than a knife with really good edge geometry, really good steel composition. Like
exactly.
Do you do hunters? That's actually
I do hunt.
You do hunt.
I've hunted for sort of 40 plus years.
Yeah, right. So you've got a good idea of what a hunting knife should look like.
Yeah.
And how it should work. What's the main style of knives you do?
I tend to make a variety of hunting knives, like 5 or 6 standard patterns, and then I really like kitchen knives because I think that's where knives are used the most. And if you've got a really nice kitchen knife that works well and is sort of ergonomically shaped for the way you work in a kitchen, then you really appreciate it.
And you've got, as well as some background in hunting, you've got background in the kitchen, so you're able to make a knife as a usable knife as opposed to a knife that looks like a kitchen knife but isn't actually a very good knife, right?
Yeah, nothing like some of the makers like Tenzu, who's, you know, a professional chef of standing. You know, I just owned a cafe and spent a lot of time processing stuff for the food for the customers. So yeah, there's certain parts that you just need to know.
Yeah, right.
My kitchen knives 4 years ago were an entirely different thing,
right,
from what I'm making now. I went to the Sydney show to have a look to see what people were making, and I bumped into Chad from Tristone Blades.
Yeah.
He invited me to his workshop and opened my eyes.
So after 25 years, did you say you've been making knives?
Yep.
25 years, 4 years ago, you turned around completely on how you make kitchen knives.
My knives have got thinner, the geometry's changed on the blades.
Yeah, right.
And they're still not where I really need them to be, but it's where I can only get them right this second with the machinery and my skills.
Yeah, right.
So, yeah, and I'm here this weekend practicing and learning. It's all about development.
Having a blast.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. You've been learning for this long, and I've looked at your knives, and they're awesome. But watching Kev, straight away you were like, I need a piece of steel. I want to be able to do that. Show me how to make it. So even after 25 years, you're learning almost every time you work with someone else, right?
Yeah, all the time. And the thing with him is he's got this piece of machinery that just goes slower than mine, and so he's got more control, and so he can do a finer edge finish. And mine's so much faster. His will go to stop, and mine will be, I don't know, mine at its slowest will be running at half speed.
Yeah, like 40 hertz or something.
Yeah, it's crazy. And so now I have to go home and try and adjust my piece of machinery or buy a new piece specifically so I can do that edge finish, which is where I really want to get to.
So what are you working on at the moment? Have you got something that you are trying, a technique or a type of knife that you're trying to conquer, a skill that you're trying to develop? Is there something right now that's still bugging you?
I'm playing with S-grinds, and I think they're an interesting thing. I don't know if they're fully practical. It might be the latest fad, but yeah, I'm just having a wee play with them.
I understand that. What do you mean about? Do you mean you don't know if they're fully practical because you haven't really used them? Or?
I've made and used a couple,
right?
But I just don't know whether a standard convex grind is not as good as an S grind.
Yeah, right. So what about food release wise? You don't feel like the S grind's got a better food release?
I don't particularly think it was any different than the convex.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I've been using that one at Kev's here, pretty heavily over the last few days, and it's fantastic on its food release. So, yeah.
Well, and Kev has got the geometry on his kitchen knives are very good.
Well, he went with spend a week with Chad and learned how to do it.
Yeah, right. Well, so, there you go.
And that's where I need to go. Yeah.
Yeah, the moral of the story is we all have to go and see Chad. Sorry about that, Chad.
Well, Chad spent so much time and effort researching this particular subject that you're going to someone who knows a lot about a particular portion, and that's where you want to go. And Mert's the same. He knows a lot about a particular portion and how it should perform. It's always horses for courses. Yeah.
You choose what you're going to do. So, being a bit of a veteran in this field, what do you think are some of the things that people like me who have only been doing knife making or in the knife making realm for like a year, what should I be doing that can help me progress faster, and what shouldn't I be doing?
First up, make what pleases you or interests you, because you'll be focused there anyway. And if you're trying to make something that's just for mass consumption, or I think people will like this and I'll be able to sell a couple of these, don't do that. Make what you're really enjoying, because then you'll do your best work and you'll learn the most about it. And then your focus will change naturally anyway, and you'll move to something else, or you want to try something else. And then you'll go, I really enjoyed that, or I don't want to make kitchen knives at all, and then stay with whatever you're doing and move somewhere else. You might be making sort of technical industrial style right now, and in 5-10 years time you might be making gentlemen's folders. You just don't know. When I started, you couldn't get a book on knife making at the library, and there was no internet, so I ended up reading engineering manuals to try and find bits that applied to what I wanted to do. Yeah,
they're just like doing it hard.
Yeah,
we do have it easy,
and it was 150 kilometres to the nearest library, so it made it fairly hard.
Yeah, that is hard. Where the hell did you live, man?
Oh, in the sticks.
In the sticks? Really in the sticks?
Little place called Okarito on the west coast.
Yeah, right.
Yep.
So what's the knife making industry like in New Zealand?
It's fairly fractured, I would say. It's starting to come together. There's a bit more interest online, so it's bringing more people out of the woodwork, but people aren't really sharing as much as they could be. And because we're sort of spread over a long, thin country, we don't travel as much as we could and meet.
So they're there, they just don't really have much to do with each other.
Yeah, and you'll get groups. Like I've got a sort of group of 4 or 5 guys that are within a couple of hours drive of me, and so we sort of collaborate a little bit, and I'm mentoring a few, and so some of that sort of stuff works out good. And I'm sure there's groups in Auckland and stuff that get together and do the same thing. I find that now you get a lot of city people who watch MasterChef and things like that, and they're coming along wanting higher quality chef's knives and more interesting handles and all that sort of thing. So that's sort of a new market that's opening, really.
So that's relatively recent there?
Yeah, in the last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, where can we find you if someone wanted to order a knife off you? I know you said to me last night you got like a 6-month waiting list or something. But if someone wanted to order a knife off you, how would they go about that?
You can order by contacting me from my website, reapyknives.co.nz, or you can track me down online on Facebook or Instagram. My details are out there. You can even just phone me up and have a yak. It's easy.
Yeah, right. Well, I'll add your details to the show notes anyway.
Or if you're on holiday in Queenstown, just come see me at the market on a Saturday morning, because I'm pretty much there every Saturday, unless I'm on holiday.
Under the tree.
Under the tree
looking over the lake.
Yep.
Alright, so this is the other half of Duo Knives, as you can see right here. It could be like one of those things on YouTube where you point to a banner, but we've got a banner already here. So this is Andrew Condick, so he's the second half of Duo Knives. Tell us a little bit about yourself, your origin story.
Oh, well, probably because when I first started working with my father as a farrier, and that's where it all started, selling racehorses.
Hang on, so your dad was a farrier and then you were a farrier?
Yeah.
Yeah, right, okay. Shoeing racehorses, how long ago was that? Like
when I was 16.
16. So hence the reason you have an arm like a power hammer.
Yeah, he started
making a lot of shoes.
Making a lot of horseshoes.
Yeah, right.
So that's good. You're continuously making the same thing over and over again, getting the shapes right. You can make them the same.
Yeah, muscle memory and repetition. So, tell me about that then, starting. Because that interests me particularly because my son's sort of starting to get into it, being 9. Did your dad start you out like any apprenticeship? You just basically were a hammer, or did he actually get you in the starting to actually? So I've got a friend who's a farrier, and when these guys start out, they pretty much just take the bar stock, find the centre, heat it up, and sort of bend it to a shape.
It started up first because we didn't hot fit the shoes.
Right.
So he'd dress the feet, get them right.
Yeah.
And the horses, so I wasn't doing that straight away. And he would fit the shoes up, and then he'd alter them. We had to go and alter them and get them right.
Yeah.
And then he would check them and go, right, now we can put them on.
So you didn't start in the workshop just making hundreds of shoes a day?
No, because it's a big learning curve.
Yeah, right.
It took me 2 years to start making a decent shoe.
Oh, right, okay. So you didn't start making shoes really at all?
No, you don't. It's actually a lot more difficult than you think.
Yeah, right. Okay.
I made some rubbish ones when I started. They weren't even worthy to go on.
Couldn't go on a horse.
Yeah.
So you started out as a farrier young, and then how did that go? You stayed a farrier yourself, or did you get into...
I did that for 4 or 5 years with my father. I did it with myself. And that's when I was stuck like that, lifting a box of horseshoes.
Yeah, right, after not that long at all, really. 4 or 5 years. So were you a blacksmith or a farrier? Farrier, right, okay. So did you do much other stuff, or was it just horseshoes?
Just horseshoes.
Yeah, right, okay. So you stuff your back up, you can no longer do the job you trained for. What do you do from there?
I started learning a little bit of blacksmith stuff.
Right.
After that.
Met some other people through just here and there, and started learning the blacksmithing side of it. And met a couple of fellows that were apprentice trainers at the railway workshops.
Oh yeah.
So you learn the industrial side of it and the art side of it.
Yeah.
So I've learned to make all the tools.
Yeah, right. So you learn that from them.
If you can't hold the job, you can't do the job. You need to be able to make the tools to do the job.
Okay, so that wasn't something you learned off your dad. You learned that later on.
No, I learned that later on.
Right.
My father didn't have the opportunity to learn that side.
Oh, so he didn't know that side. He would buy his tools.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
He made me go to horseshoeing competitions because he didn't have the opportunity. And he made me go, and I learned heaps of stuff and showed him, and both of our work improved our sight.
Yeah, I bet.
But when I first went there and thought, and I'd only really worked with my father and not many other people, went to this competition, and then, wow, my father knows a lot more than I thought.
Yeah, right, okay.
He really knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a real eye-opener.
As in seeing other professionals that really didn't seem like they were doing. All the other professionals,
yeah. I got asked by another fellow that was a fully qualified English farrier and blacksmith. And he asked me to go on a 3-man team shoeing draft horses.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and he says, can you dress the feet with a 1/4 inch hoof around? Yeah, do that, yep. And then I help make the shoes and stuff. And he goes, oh yeah, we did a 3-man team and we won the competition.
Huh.
And it was the first thing I'd been to. And I come home with a trophy and my father's going, what the...
You must be good.
And he says, I was working with a really good fella, yeah.
Yeah, well, and I suppose that's the thing. If he hasn't had much to do with other people, he wouldn't even know whether you're really good or
no, you don't know.
Average.
No.
Until you start putting yourself against other people. That's awesome. So you go from there, start doing the blacksmithing stuff, learn some things off some trainers, some tutors, tool making and that sort of stuff. How did you get from there to knife making? Was it just as fashions changed, or?
Doing some blacksmithing stuff, and I met a fellow that was doing knives, and we did stuff together for quite a while. And then we had a few differences and split apart.
As people do.
And I was still dabbling a little bit, not much, just doing forging and other stuff and making tongs and bits and pieces and axes and other stuff. And then I met John, the fellow, once, it would be 25, 30 years ago. We just had a visit, and then we've met more and more, and then we've got more involved over the years. So I used to go to his place every Christmas.
Yeah, because how far are you from him?
At the moment it's about 5 1/4 hours.
From John?
Yeah.
Oh, I was figured you live around the corner.
No, we used to live in Hokitika, that was 3 hours.
Yeah, right.
So I used to go over there for like a week or 10 days at Christmas.
Are you on the same island?
Yeah.
Yeah, right, okay.
And we'd be doing stuff the whole time. We'd be forging, we'd be doing stock removal, or I'd make some Damascus and we'd go over there and we'd make something out of it.
Yeah, wow.
Some of the knives I've made with them have taken us to finish 3-4 years.
Yeah, because you're just going there at Christmas.
Yeah, and do stuff in stages, because I would, you just do that, oh yeah, whatever, it doesn't happen sometimes,
Yeah, right. So have you, you've been teaching me to make tongs,
Yeah.
and I did a really bad job of it. But is this something have you taught this much before, or do you just?
I've done a lot of teaching people things, even through farrier work, blacksmithing work.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to work on various jobs I've had. I was training other people. I
Yeah.
like teaching people. As long as they want to learn, I'll teach them.
Man, I'll learn all day. So what would you say to me? You've seen my level. I've spent my entire life with hammers in my hand. What are the real points you can give to someone like me, and the things that you would say do not do or do not try? Like,
Yeah, it's just the way you got to, like hitting with your hammer, hitting flat. Maybe a more radiused hammerhead would be better.
mm-hmm.
You're not going to get notches in your work.
Yep.
Yep. And learn to hold your tongs. That's the hardest part, is using your other hand.
Yeah,
Holding
right.
the tongs in your left hand, and that it just comes naturally to me now. But you've got to learn how to use them.
Sure.
Thing you got to teach people when they're learning it. If you keep hitting it, don't hit it for the sake of hitting it.
Mm-hmm.
Stop, have a look. What have I done? What's this done? Where's it moved?
And I suppose that is partly, it's about efficiency, but at the same time, I think the reason I don't always look as regularly as I want is I'm aware that I've only got so many hits before it's too cold. But
Yeah.
like you said to me, it doesn't matter how many times you put it in the fire, you'd rather put it in more times.
If it's a knife, you've got to be careful. Certain tool steels don't like.
Of course, yeah, we're doing tongs at the time, but yeah.
But if it's tongs, it's mild steel. You can heat it multiple times.
Yeah.
Keep it hot. It's easy to work. You go to a horseshoe competition or a blacksmith thing, you watch. There's people standing there banging cold steel.
Yeah,
And if you have it hot, you're going to be finished twice as quick.
yeah, right. Even if it's
It
going
makes
in
it
the
more-
fire more regularly, it's more
gonna
plastic.
It's going to be more quicker.
Yeah, it moves
A lot
more regularly.
faster.
So you make knives as part of Duo Knives. Do you also make knives on your own and sell them separately?
No, haven't done that for a long time.
No,
No.
not something
I
you're
can.
interested in.
You put me on the grinder, it would be pretty crude.
Right.
Yeah.
So you see yourself much more as a blacksmith than a knife maker.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. And so what do you do? Do you sell your own products? Do you make any sort of decorative stuff? Do you?
At the moment, I would say I'm making a massive loss.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not paying my rent for my workshop and what I'm doing and other bits and pieces. I'm losing money, guaranteed.
You're doing it for the love,
Yep.
not for the money by any means.
Not at the money at the moment.
And that is the old adage: no one gets rich doing blacksmithing or making knives.
When I made a knife for John with all the materials and time, probably lost $300-400 and the knife was no good straight away.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. If I go over to John's at Christmas, we'll make something for ourselves.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like last time I went to John's, we got the W2 out and we made some Hanons
Yeah.
and did that. So I've
Yeah.
got a nice Nakiri knife, nice deep
Nice.
knife.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not. John sharpened it and it was all right. I mean, I had a go and it feels like it's as blunt as blunt.
Yeah.
And
So
now
that's
that
a
I've
skill,
done-
isn't it?
Now that I've done merch sharpening class, now I know why.
Now you know why.
Now I know why, and I think it will cut like a.
It's all about the burr.
It's going to be extremely dangerous razor when I
Yeah,
sharpen it. Yeah.
that's right. Well, as Mert says, yeah, it's all about the burr. So, you are working as a blacksmith. Are you whole time? Do you have another job? Do you?
I work for Equipment Services, and they sell Graco paint sprayers, American paint sprayers.
Right. Okay. So you don't have the need to be making money off the blacksmithing. You can do it for love.
No, it's at the love at the moment. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think that's probably sometimes better. When you work together, you're essentially a blacksmith. You're making the Damascus and that sort of stuff.
Yep.
Yeah. And so, you've spoken to me about Damascus. You've actually got some awesome patterns. You're really developing new things.
Yeah.
So is that something you have done for a long time, or is that since knife making?
Oh, since I started knife making, the other fellow I did stuff with, where I've been making Damascus for over 20-25 years.
Yeah, right. And what do you make the Damascus on?
That's all done on the fly press at the moment.
On a fly press.
Yeah.
What size?
It's a 5-ton John Hyde.
5 ton John Hine. It's interesting because obviously a lot of people say you can't make Damascus without a forging press or a power hammer. And I know there's people do it by hand.
I've got a hydraulic power pack, I've got a hydraulic ram, and I've got a whole lot of steel, and that's as far as it's got.
It's going to get there. But you're making perfectly legitimate
I've had
Damascus.
the hydraulic power pack for about 7 years. It's taking time.
It's taking time to get together. Yeah, I did hear about that. No, but the mere fact you can actually do it by fly press, and of course we know. Have you ever made it by hand?
Yeah.
Yeah. Forged by hand. So it's on a commercial level you wouldn't want to do it,
No.
but it's perfectly legitimate.
Yeah, no,
process to do.
once I get the hydraulic press going, I've got a power hammer, it's in the back of my garage. If I could try and butter up my landlord, maybe I could put that power hammer in.
So yeah, that sucks having a power hammer that you can't use.
It does a bit.
Smarts.
Especially since
What's the
I've
problem? The
fixed-
concrete.
Well, yeah, plus it's noisy.
Oh, being able to actually use it.
Yeah.
That sucks. What power arm have you got?
It's a Goliath mechanical.
Yeah.
hammer.
Yeah, right.
The patent's June 1910 or whatever it was made.
Yeah.
I've rebuilt the arms on it, the springs on it, the ram head. It's had metal spray done on the clutch comb because it was worn out.
Yeah, right.
So,
So they like reline it.
So they reline it and then they've done it on a lathe and trued it all back up.
Yeah, nice.
So I've changed over the linkage, I've changed over the springs. It's practically a new rebuild.
Yeah, and now you can't use it. Not for a while anyway.
I can do 270 hits a minute.
Yeah, but you're not allowed to use it yet.
Oh, well, I'll talk to the man.
Yeah.
I just haven't got there yet.
No, well that'll be exciting because that should change your work too.
Units.
Production will get much faster by the time you start using that.
Oh yeah, because if I was here at Kev's, I'd think I'd be able to smack out heaps of Damascus.
Yeah, yeah. And would you start selling it then? Maybe.
Maybe.
It all depends. Because
Yes.
if you had
the
to
mosaic Damascus is labour intensive. There's a lot of material.
is it?
I might have started off with over 4 billets to make one knife.
Yeah, right.
And like, they were reasonable sized billets.
Yeah, I actually saw. Well, they're the ones you showed me the pictures of.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's quite interesting that by the time you've ground them down over and over again and that sort of thing, you lose a lot, don't you?
There's a lot of material.
You make a beautiful looking knife, but one day I'll buy a piece off you. One day when you're ready to start selling them, and I know I'm a good enough knife maker to justify Damascus.
Yeah, your knives are nice. You've
buy-
got nice grinds. And you've got a good eye for the shapes too.
Yeah, well, you've got to be
I
good at
can
something.
draw reasonably good, so that helps as well.
Yeah, yeah. So, duo knives. Tell me, how does it work? Two people, two totally different ideas about what they like, but ending up with one final product.
We don't particularly have different ideas about what we like. We
Oh, okay.
like very similar stuff. But Andrew doesn't like to grind, and I can't forge anymore because of tendonitis in my hands.
Ah, so it's economy, it's efficiency, or no?
So, yeah, he forges sort of what we both want to make, and I grind what we both want to make.
Yeah, right. It's like a good marriage.
Yeah, sort of, but he has to do the dishes.
Yeah, but you're doing the cooking. So
Well,
good.
it's one or the other, yeah.
So
At least I'm not making the bed.
yeah, well, so you can draw and you can draw. I saw you both do it. So do you come up with your own designs and then take them to the table and talk about them, or how does that work?
We normally talk about them and then say, what do you want to make? You want to make something, especially if it's Damascus, do we want to make something big to make the most of the pattern? And then we'll say maybe Kyoto or a French chef or zombie slayer, or which we don't make.
We don't make.
Yeah. You know, or depending on the type of steel and whatever we're using, yeah.
Yeah. And you obviously take orders. So, or do you not take orders working together?
No.
You don't take orders working together.
Never done that.
Yeah, right. Okay, so how does that work then? You make something you want to do and then you think about putting it up for sale, or are they mainly for you to keep?
If we want to sell it, we'll put it up for sale. If he wants it, he keeps it. If I want it, I keep it.
Yeah.
Right, okay. Cool, so Duo Knives is on Instagram and is on Facebook. If someone did want to order something specifically from you guys together, that's how they'd get a hold of you?
Yeah, they should contact Andrew first.
Right.
He's the main instigator of it.
So you're the computer man.
We're both still learning.
You guys have been working together for some time. Do you think it's, obviously it's a positive in your behalf because you can forge, but you feel like you're not a great grinder?
I'm not a great, definitely not a great.
Whereas you can't forge anymore, but you clearly can finish a knife very well. Do you think it's something that people should be looking for to help them with their creativity and that, to be having a partner, someone, a second person to work with, or do you only doing it out of necessity?
No, it's great to bounce ideas off somebody else. It's, yeah, really good. And Andrew, because he looks at things from a different angle. He looks at it from a blacksmith's forging perspective, and I look at it pretty much from the other angle of how would I grind this. So we both come up with different ideas to do the same thing.
Yeah,
and
right.
you say, oh, how about you just forge this on here? I can't forge that on there, it doesn't work. All right, so how are we going to make that then?
Yeah.
Yeah. Or I'll say, oh, I'd really like this. Oh, just forge it for you. Beauty.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I'll just upset this in the middle and we'll have a bolster that sticks down for an integral guard.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So, what are you working on big at the moment? Is it something for yourself personally, or something to sell, or together? Is there something you're making?
Andrew's, he's probably working on steel in his mind, because we sort of had a failed project at Christmas that we really sort of want to get to work.
Right.
Yeah, so.
But is that something you do? Spend a lot of time pre-planning in your head, or do you?
Oh yeah.
For Damascus.
How and what and why I want to plan it. This is what I want to get at the finish.
Yeah.
Right.
You have to plan.
And then sort of reverse engineer what you saw in your head for Damascus. Because I've looked at it before, and you kind of go, how do you get? And there's a lot of cutting and grinding and putting it back together opposite directions and that sort of thing.
There's a lot of welds,
a lot of welding, stacking. Yeah, we're quite entranced with the mosaic side of things right this moment, and pattern control.
And I've seen some of the offcuts you've got here. Some of your like basket weaves are incredibly neat. They're exactly the same in all four corners.
I've been welding in the V-blocks and the fly press.
Yeah.
So it gets it really neat, really tidy.
Yeah, I saw those in the pictures. I'm definitely stealing that. I'm going to get you to send me those pictures. Because I have a fly press, but I don't have any tooling for it, and it's kind of...
And it's simple tooling.
Yeah, very simple, but you can do... I like to think that I might be able to make your sort of Damascus as soon as I do it, but there's much more to do with what's in your head and your skills than really the tooling. You just need the tooling to make it actually happen.
Yeah, you do need the tooling.
So, but you've been making a Damascus a long time.
Yeah, we have. I've been doing it a long time.
Yeah, you said 20 years or something, didn't you?
At least.
Yeah, so there's I'm sure when you first started them there was delaminations and bad patterns.
A lot of failures.
Yeah.
We've done it with another fellow. We made a knife and we made a beautiful Damascus, just random pattern knife. And we were cleaning it all up and we were putting this, just about to put the beavers on and put the cutting edge on it, and there's a big flaw in it.
Yeah, after it was almost finished.
It was finished, you had to handle everything was done. So we cut the end off it and got
made
a
it shorter.
nice big stone, and we cut a groove in the stone and we put it in there like you saw it in the stone.
Oh, right, you didn't make another knife out of it.
No, and we sold it as is.
As
chopped the end off it and glued it into
as an ornament.
Glued it as a stone as an ornament, so it's an art piece.
Yeah, that's awesome.
We sold it easy.
Yeah, I bet you did.
It was all
funny.
handled and guarded and everything. It was just
really nice.
And the interesting thing about that is, I don't know if you sold it to a knife collector or not, but you think outside of the... People think about what we're doing in there. People keep saying thinking outside the box, but we're all looking at other pictures on Instagram and all that sort of stuff, and you're kind of getting derivatives of the same thing. But recently I've seen things like door handles that are made to look just like a knife, but the blade is welded to a door, and that's very cool. Having the knife sort of stuck in a stone, it's different again. It's like a derivative of the knife thing, and you've still got all the same skill that goes into a knife.
You're thinking, I've done all this work, how am I going to get my way out of it?
Yeah, people think the more you do something, the better you get, which is true, but the less mistakes you make. But all you're doing is making mistakes on new things.
Yeah.
It's unlikely to make mistakes on the really basic stuff anymore.
Yeah. And the new things tend to be more expensive because your end product is sort of getting more expensive, and you're spending more time making the steel, and then all of a sudden you get to the final polish and there's a flaw.
Oh, so the mistakes cost you more?
Yeah, you've spent, he spent 6-7 weeks making the block of steel for the basket weave Giotto, and
after work, weekends.
Yeah, so it's not even just money that you're losing.
And I'm starting a 240 grit polish, and there's 4 little shiny lines that shouldn't be there.
Bugger.
That was said, I'm afraid.
Yeah. Well, and how do you react to those sort of flaws?
What do you do? Move on. You can't do anything else. No, you're yelling and screaming and crying about it.
You don't get to the throw it away any stage. Put it there and we'll look at it, and you can show other people, and so.
You can always make a really small knife out of it.
No.
Oh, there's too much going on, is there?
Yeah, there's too much going on. You can't.
Oh, really?
No.
Just the position of the flaws.
How annoying. Well, gentlemen, how do we find you on the net? Is it just Duo Knives?
Just Duo Knives.
Duo Knives. So if someone wants to order something specifically through you, they just find you there.
Letters are always good.
Letters?
Yeah, I like old-fashioned stuff.
Actual letters?
Yeah, actual letters, with a stamp.
Yeah, right. That's interesting. I don't even know where to go with that.
I thought you wouldn't.
I don't even know. The only letters I seem to get ask me for money nowadays. I think they're the only letters I get, or birthday cards. All right, well, thank you very much, gentlemen. Much appreciate your amount of time with me.
Thank you, sir.
Good luck with it.